We're speaking with Sally Smith of Buffalo Wild Wings. She's one of the Food Channel Pro's Leaders with Guts. How involved are you in research and development?
Well, we have a great chef, and we have an innovation kitchen. We'll hold food tasting panels about 4 times a year, and then in between, I'm looking at research with the marketing team. But we do food cuttings with our national ad board, with our Buffalo Wild Wings Leadership Council, as well as the leadership team, probably every other month. So I would say, you know, pretty involved. But again, I always have to remember I need to rely on the research. So I really work hard on understanding what the guest is trying to, what the guest wants and what the guest is saying, because what I want on a menu isn't necessarily what our guest wants.
Do your franchisees do much tinkering with the menu?
You know, we get some really great ideas from our franchisees. They'll ask about regional items, and we're getting large enough that we're at that point where we're really going to try to roll it out. They will give us their feedback. They're always very welcoming when we want to do testing in their restaurants, and they'll bring the product in, and they let us know when something's working and not working, and they'll even send in things as suggestions. Not only franchisees, but team members across the country. Tinker with, well, you know, if you're in the heart of the house and you're cooking and you make something not on the menu, it's one thing when I go into the restaurants that they love to do is make their favorite thing for me.
What is your best-selling menu item?
Well, it's in our name, wings, but now it's evenly split between traditional wings and boneless wings. Both represent about 20% of our total sales, and right after that, beer.
Sort of like Coke and Diet Coke, passed it up.
Exactly, yep.
Now, what about your desserts? Do they move?
You know, I wouldn't say that desserts are, I mean, people don't come to Buffalo Wild Wings for a dessert. I think we have three really good dessert offerings. I think what it does is, I think people order dessert when the game goes into overtime. Or, you know, and we're trying to have, you know, just a scoop of ice cream with a topping for kids, because I do like something a little bit sweet. But again, we try to have shareable items for desserts as well. You
know, you mentioned that when a game goes into overtime. So a lot of times when you go to these games, you got to eat, and then you got to eat, and if you want to hold the table, I mean, you pretty much eat for hours and hours, don't you?
I think they learn to pace themselves. Our good servers will say, you know, they'll come by after half an hour, hey, have you tried these, or we have a new menu item here. We hope they're eating. We hope they're drinking beer or a handcrafted lemonade. But again, because we have shareable food, I think that works really well. The other thing that happens during these games is maybe your friend didn't, or you have a group of friends that didn't show up right when you thought they were. So the people flex back and forth off of tables. You know, some people will leave, more people will join that table, then they'll want more food, and again, I think it's very affordable, very value oriented, and so sitting for a long time and eating makes sense.
Can you talk a little bit about the evolution of the Buffalo Wild Wings menu?
When I started, I think we had 6, maybe 8 sauces. I remember taking my son when he was 4 to try out our tenders. We were going to introduce tenders to the menu for the first time. And we try to be cognizant of what's happening out there, what's happening with flavor profiles. So as people have wanted spicier or more flavorful sauces, we've been able to introduce that along with new dry rubs. And it allows people to come to Buffalo Wild Wings and almost have a different food, if they want, every time they come, because they can come 14 times and have wings 14 different ways. Well, now 18 ways with our 4 new dry rubs.
Sally, do you spend much time in research and development on new beverage items?
You know, it's an increasing area of development for us. Certainly, beer is our #1 seller, and draft beer probably represents about 80% of our total alcohol sales. But we do have a full bar, serve wine, drinks, as well as beer. And then what we've really tried to expand in the last couple of years is our non-alcoholic side. We certainly serve the traditional sodas, Coca-Cola, and its line of products, but also now a handcrafted lemonade that has been very popular for people that want something with a great taste, and but maybe don't want to have a beer with lunch or dinner.
You mentioned your beer sales being the highest. What percentage of sales is beverage versus food?
Right now, and I'll have beverages between, our alcohol beverages represent about 25% of our total sales. Non-alcoholic beverages represent between 5 and 7% of total sales.
We've been talking with Sally Smith of Buffalo Wild Wings and the Vice Chairman of the National Restaurant Association. Check out the next part of this series as we explore what it takes to be a leader with guts. For Food Channel Pro, I'm Ellen Codiff.